Hello everyone, in this video what we're going to do, we're going to deploy a Linux virtual machine in Azure environment, and once we have the machine we're going to use that to use the VNET Peering feature to talk to another Linux VM that is already deployed in one of my resource groups. So if you look at it, I have AZ500 RG that's in East US, and if I go in that resource group, I have actually a Windows VM, AZ500 VM, that's a Windows 2016 server that's hosted there, and I have a complete separate virtual VNet for protecting for this environment, okay? And if you look at it, if you go in there, it's got 10.1.0.0, so that's 16. That's the address space that I'm using over there. Now coming back to the resource group, I have another one that I have already done some peering. I have both of these, although they're in two different resource groups, they are in the same region. Both of them are in the East US, and if you go in there you will see I have got a Ubuntu machine in there, and there is another again separate VNet for this environment, and this guy is using 10.0.0.0/24 address space. Okay, so what I wanted to do this time is create a third resource group and deploy another Ubuntu VM, but instead of using the East US, let's use something else, some other location, and then we're going to try out VNet peering and see if it's working. So first thing first, so let's go and create the resource group. Let's call it AZ500 RG VNet peered different region. Okay, now instead of choosing East US, I'm gonna go to, maybe go to some so completely, if it's East US, go to maybe West US. Okay, so East and West, and then review and create. So that should create my my resource group. So let's refresh this one, and it should show up. Where is it? It says the deployment is already done, right? So let's go to resource group. It's showing up in here, so it should show up in my under resource group. So let's click on them one more time. It's still not showing from here, but it's showing up from here. Excuse me. Okay, so it usually takes a little bit of time before this resource group is going to show up. So it's here. A few seconds ago. Let's go back. Wow, interesting that it's taking so much time to show up. Anyway, so let's not wait for that to show up. Let's just create a new resource group, a new VM inside this resource group. Okay, so here I'm gonna create new, and I'm gonna stick to Ubuntu server 18.4, and that's good, that's the right resource group. So I'm gonna call it Ubuntu uh, West US. Okay, and here I wanna use US West. And I don't need any of that. This one, I think I'm just gonna stick to this, yeah, this one. Let's see what I get. I want to see the cost, and I don't want to make it too much expensive. I just want to use something basic and something really cheap. It looks like these, if I host it here, is a little bit more expensive than what I have if I host it in the other region. So let's go with this basic one vCPU, 0.75 gigs of RAM, one data disk, and input output 3x300. Okay. So I'm gonna copy that one. I'm gonna use password for this. Let's create a username and password. Then inbound port row, public inbound port, since it's we need to connect to the VM. For now I'm going to keep the SSH port 22 open, and I don't really think I need to do standard SSD. I can just use the standard HDD to reduce the cost, and then enable ultra disk compatibility. I have never used this feature. I'm just going to go with the default ones. It's asking about more networking, so it says default 10.0.1.24, so you can use the default one or you can create a new one. Okay, and SKU assigned. Okay, I can go with the new default one. That's just fine with me. Make network security group is going to give us a basic NSG. Allow selected ports. We already said 22. We can have it open. And load balancing is no. Boot diagnostic, I'm going to turn it on this one. System assign managed identity, and I'm just going to keep all of them as default. I go to advanced. Again, I'm going to choose everything as default. On VM generation, again a reminder, there's VM2 do not support some of the Azure platform features, including Azure disk encryption. So if you specially need Azure disk encryption, please do not use the generation 2 just yet, and wait for the support tag. And over here, validation passed, and just in a second you'll be able to, so it's saying it's a very little cost for using this VM, so you'll be charged like what, less than 2 cents per hour, and then you can hit create. So it's going to start the deployment. What we'll do, we'll connect to the machine and make sure that it's working when the deployment is complete, and we'll take a look at the machine and some of that stuff momentarily. So it takes probably 3-4 minutes depending on where you are for the deployment to get done. So we'll come back in a few moments. I'm going to pause the video. But if you are doing it, you will see that one thing, you can look at the notification here. Things will keep getting updated. Once something is done, you will show some notification. Like here right now it's saying deployment is in progress. You will see deployment details section. It will be getting populated as more and more things are going on. So like Ubuntu West US it needs an IP. The IP is generated, okay. NSG is generated, okay. Then storage, we need storage. We need something else in here. Network adapter most likely. So all of that stuff, we're going to take a look into that in few minutes when it's done. Okay, so come back to this one. The another thing, while this is going on, since we have time, we can also click on the template, and the template will tell you what exactly you did for this deployment. And if you like this deployment, you can download this template, save it, or you can add it to your library, and then you can just click on this and to deploy multiple other machines. Okay, so that you can use for your automation. And you can should be comfortable with the template syntax a little bit. It's a JSON format. Some of the items are required, like schema, okay, the content version. That could be anything. You can define it, and it's if you change something major, you can use it to version control this. And there's a parameter really defines what you need to do. Parameters could be location, networking interface, network security group name, group rule, subnet name, virtual network name, then address prefix, subnet, public IP address, public IP address type, SKU, then virtual machine name, virtual machine resource group, then OS disk type, virtual machine size, admin username, admin password, diagnostic storage account name, diagnostic storage account ID. What else do we have? Diagnostic storage account type and diagnostic storage account kind. Now these are the parameters. Now you can define the variables like this. NSG network security group ID is coming and it's going to get stuff from this variable. And so you just go through and look at how all of these different things are defined. Okay, some of this thing like API version is just telling you it's just one string, and other things it will come from calling some of these variables and figuring out what is the actual parameter on that one. And when you come down to some of this, like you will see, yeah, SKU is 18.04 LTS, offer is Ubuntu server, publisher is Canonical. So lots of information are in here. So I would recommend that you spend some time to kind of go through it. You don't have to remember everything, but make sure that you kind of understand what are different things we have and what you can configure. Actually, let's go back and see if the deployment is done. It's still not done, so we'll come back, and now I'm going to pause the video for a second. Alright everyone, so I'm looking at the notification. It says the deployment is now done, so I can go to the resource. So let's see what's going on over there. So it's running West US. I got a public IP address, and I have a subnet with this address space. With private IP with this address. So let's try to connect to this machine. Let's copy its public IP, and let's see if I'm still connected to this machine. If I'm still connected to okay, so this is the other virtual machine box where I'm connected, and if you see what I did previously, so this is my main machine Ubuntu. So I did a SSH to the other Ubuntu box which had a public IP address of 52.168.167 and 16. So what I can do, I can open up another window and do the same thing. SSH to ibasu at so it didn't get copied. So 15. It's also not working. Okay, something is going on with this. Let's just get rid of it. Ibasu at, there we go. So if I now click on it, it's asking if I trust the authenticity. I say yeah, it's my server. Okay, what's my password? So let's put the password. I hope I put the right password. Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm in there. So you see that's the Ubuntu West US. That's the machine that I'm in. And let's see if I'm connected to the internet. Do a google.com, and I am. So at this time, let's check real quick if I can ping the other Ubuntu machine, which is in the other subnet. Okay, so I'll go to virtual machines. Okay, I have only 3. So from here, which is in the West US, I want to ping that private IP and see what happens. Now, one caveat here: if the ICMP is blocked, even though you can talk to the network, you won't see any response. So let's hope that is enabled and say you are not getting any response at all. Okay, right? So how do you, first of all, how do you peer those two networks? So one way you can to be able to connect to that IP, instead of using the private, you can also try the public IP. See if I'm getting any response from the public IP. Ping the public IP. Okay, this is not giving you a response. That means that server is blocking the ICMP service, so you are not getting any response back because of that. It's not because you cannot talk to that talk to the server. Okay, so at this time, to make sure that I have the connectivity, I have to do some additional steps. So one thing, I have to configure the network security group to allow the ICMP traffic. So what they're saying, at the Thomas, I just did a Google search. You can look at the website. So I'm just looking at one way to do it. We can add a new inbound port rule for Azure Network Security Group (NSG) and change the protocol to ICMP. So let's see if we can do that. All right. So where would I go? So let's go back to our resource groups. Okay, not virtual machines. I just want to go back to our resource group, and from here I wanted to go there. So let's open up the NSG over here. So here, where is my NSG? So Ubuntu NSG. So let's open it, and here, so I want to ping so that the inbound security rule is most likely what we need to change. Let's see, new inbound port rule. Okay, so what we need to do, change the create a new rule, add a new rule. So go back, from here, inbound. So let's go to inbound security rule. So right now it's allowing only port 22. Okay, so let's allow source. Let's see what else do I need to configure. Any source port region, click on this. Any source port range, any destination port range star, and here protocol, it's we are choosing ICMP and then allow, and we're going to set a priority. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Any source port, from any port, from anybody, destination from any destination port range. Actually here, destination port. I don't think we changed anything over there, did we? No, we didn't. We just said ICMP is a protocol that we care about. Okay, and then action is allow. Priority, this is 300. I think 310 should be good, and we can call it something nice like port ICMP. So let's add that port, uh, ICMP, and we're gonna add this one, creating security rule. So that's right there. So protocol ICMP is allowed. Okay, so once this is allowed, so let's just go back. So this is West US, so let's try to ping this person one more time and look at that. So that's the public IP. So public IP, we started getting response back because we have opened up the NSG to this particular machine. Okay, so now let's go back to that particular machine again. So go over here. This is this group that I'm working on. So this is the Ubuntu which you can now ping to this 52.168.167.16 IP. Okay, but can you ping to the private IP? Let's try now. So let's come over here and let's do a ping to that one and see that now we have proven that ping is now available to us. The machine knows how to respond to this protocol, but this packet is not going to the subnet because we have not allowed or create the VNET peering. So that's the next thing that we're going to do in this exercise. Now to do that, again we go back to this resource group. So you can, if I'm doing the peering between these two subnets, I have to go to the VNet. So let's go in this resource group one more time. Find the VNet. This is the VNet. Okay. So we wanna do the VNet peering is right at the bottom under settings. We're gonna add a peering. We're gonna call it east to west peer. Okay. From here, subscription virtual network. So we are in AZ500 RG peered. So AZ500 RG so these two are already peered. So we are in the east, so we're gonna peer with the west. So we're gonna select the west one. So now once the east is going to peer to the west needs to talk back to the east as well. So the other one we're going to call west to east peer. Okay, so and rest of them configure allow virtual network access from peered, enable, yeah, allow forward traffic. I'm gonna just go with the default ones and I'm just gonna say okay. So now what it's doing, it's creating a peering between the two virtual network. One is in the east US and another is in the west US. Once this is done, what we would expect that when we try to do our ping from this machine, okay, this you should now see, and as we said, now we have traffic that's flowing between the two different subnets that are in two completely different regions. So I'm really happy that this lab worked really well. So what you have learned, how to create a virtual machine, Ubuntu box, how to work with different resource groups, and then how to allow update your NSG to allow ping requests, and then at the end you have also learned how to create VNet peering, so you have a network traffic between the two subnets. Doesn't matter whether they're in the same region or they're spread across different regions. And this is again a security benefit that you're not going to the internet, you're just talking and using the Azure backbone for your traffic. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck with the exam. If you have any question, please let me know. If you like, please subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.